is the education in place that people actually understand what it is that they should be eating?
There are two big barriers in the countries we work in Africa and Asia. One is affordability. I mean, there's a study that says 50% of a household's income, typically in South Asia and in some countries in Africa, 50% of the income of the household will have to be spent on purchasing 5 fruits and vegetables a day per person, right? So that's just a non-starter. It should be less than 5%, not 50%.
Yeah.
So we're talking about a tenfold decrease, but you're right. There is a demand side aspect to this as well in terms of preferences. And what we're seeing now is junk food is permeating. Unhealthy snacks, let's put it that way, are permeating even the most remote areas of places like Indonesia and Bangladesh. Yeah, it's an aspirational thing. The advertising, it's the taste, it's the convenience. Yeah. We do work in rural Indonesia that gets these snacks you can buy in little kiosks, and we dissolve them in water, and we show. I mean, it's really revolting. You see them dissolving in water. You see the oil slick that forms on the water and the smell that comes off the cup of water with the stuff in it. So we try to do sort of awareness raising about what's in this food that's bad for your kids. So there is an income side to it. It's hard to buy healthy whole grains, whole fresh fruits, vegetables, eggs, some dairy, some fish. It's expensive, but the other stuff is really quite cheap. And so there is a big education effect. I don't like to call it education because we like to call it emotional demonstration. Imodemos, we call them. We do a lot of these, and it's about eliciting an emotional response to the food, whether it's through humor or disgust or through any kind of emotion that makes a food a negative, a memorable negative, and a positive memorable as well.
That's fascinating. How did that kind of idea come along? Because that's a much better way of engaging people, right? Through getting them to make the decisions. Because logic is one thing, but then when it comes to what you're actually going to go away and eat, what you're going to spend your money on, and what you have the money to spend on. But when you tap into people's emotional relationship with food, well, that can be much more powerful. But how did that kind of model come about?
Well, I think it came about because we work a lot with businesses.
Okay.
And businesses are public. The public sector is absolutely hopeless at getting people to eat healthier food. Their message is very left brain. It's very logical, linear, science-based. Eat more fresh food and good food because it's good for you. Well, that's, people don't, it's not the number one priority for many people, actually. I've got a couple of teenagers, they don't, that message falls very on deaf ears for them. Sure. So what the private sector does brilliantly is figure out what people care about and then link the food to that. They tap in to emotions, to aspirations, to all the artistic side, if you like, of the brain, and less so on the left side. So we try to bring marketing agencies from the private sector together with governments. So the governments say the science is right, the messaging has to be faithful to the science. Yeah. But the way in which you get the message to be sticky and engaging and memorable and to penetrate the psyche is to use the kind of techniques that the private sector knows all too well and very often uses to sell bad foods.